Hi there and welcome back to the channel. Today I'd like to open a conversation about suicidal ideation. And suicidal ideation, or thinking about suicide, is a very, very topical and important part of having bipolar, something most of us experience. So suicidal ideation is when we think about committing suicide and when we actually want to do it. It's a difficult topic to talk about, and so that's why I thought within this space of this channel it was a good place for us to enter into this conversation. Remember, it's also our right and our need to talk about it. So generally we find that people don't want to talk about suicidal ideation or suicide in general. People seem to have a very judgmental, critical attitude towards suicide, as if it's a character flaw, as if it's a weakness, and we ourselves feel ashamed and often very guilty that we're even considering suicide. Suicidal ideation is known to happen in depression, where obviously you're feeling extremely hopeless and you don't feel your life is going anywhere, and that perhaps this is the way out, this is the solution. But suicidal ideation can definitely also occur in mania. So it's a very, very real part of both sides of the bipolar coin. Suicidal ideation involves concocting a plan as to how we would commit suicide. Now, as human beings are very imaginative creatures, and thoughts about committing suicide do not necessarily end up in the action of committing suicide, but nonetheless, the thoughts themselves are extremely painful and devastating. It's devastating to sit in a frozen space where actually you feel suicide is the only way out. I was extremely depressed, and I was sitting in my living room, midwinter, fire in front of me, not much heat coming off the fire. I wanted to kill myself. I just wanted a way out. There was nothing else that seemed clearer to me at the moment. And I lifted an imaginary gun to my head, which of course was the psychotic side of things, which you can see in psychosis. And I pulled the trigger in my mind. So I was really fantasizing about the act of committing suicide, to the point where I was thinking, even after the suicide, like, where would I be buried? Who would be burying me? How would people feel around me? What would they say about me in the eulogy? Now, the danger of that psychosis, the danger of that suicidal ideation, was that if someone hadn't found me in that state, which luckily for me they did, I might very well have taken that further and gone out and found a gun. So suicidal ideation can lead to suicide, and it is an extremely, extremely dangerous place to be in, and one that you don't want to be in. It feels extremely real, as if it's almost as if it's going to happen. It's like an inevitable step. It's something that you have no control over. It's just the next step in your suffering of that illness. And it's important to remember that you cannot always rely on your mind. In fact, often your thinking will actually work against you. You need to assess whether your thoughts are valid. But obviously, in a time when you are contemplating suicide, there's no way that you're going to sit in some kind of introspective space and think to yourself, is this a valid line of reasoning? Is this actually helping me? So it is important to realize upon reflection that those suicidal thoughts were not you, they were not real, and they actually weren't the kind of places you wanted to go to, that you didn't really want to end your life. And then in fact it was really your mind playing some rather dirty tricks on you. It was very, very emotional for me when I started to unpack my suicidal ideation. And, you know, what I relied on was this belief that every problem in the world can be solved, and that every problem can be unpacked and it can be addressed. And so I did this with suicidal ideation. It's not an easy process, but it's definitely a useful process, and it will lessen the impact that this thinking will have on you. So I'd really like to hear about your experiences with suicidal ideation. Please do feel happy to share that with me. You can email me on info@bipolarcoaching.co.za. I will reply to your emails. And also, please visit my website. That's www.bipolarcoaching.co.za, where you can find out other content areas and other conversations you might want to engage in and comment on. So please know I do answer my emails, and I hope that you'll join me for the next video. So thanks so much for watching. Wishing you well. Cheers for now.